What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to your source for fantasy hockey news and betting degeneracy. It is the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, Thursday edition. We are breaking down what's happening with Steele and I's team, where we're going right, where we're going wrong, and how you can do what you need to do to make this money. Big time bets on the way, baby. Let's get right to it.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every single day. You know you can catch us Monday to Friday across all the platforms you find your favorite and hottest content. And on today's episode, my friends, Steele and I are going to have a little bar stool chat about what's going on with our fantasy hockey teams. It's a little bit of a quiet day in the realm of fantasy hockey in the NHL. Of course, we have the rumblings, the news coming out about injuries. Alex Pietrangelo, Nathan MacKinnon, obviously dealing with both different reasons for being away from their team. We got some little news, but today we want to get to some big-time bets action and break down how we're doing in our leagues, how we're not doing so well for some of us. That's me right here, hand up. But maybe some ways that you guys out there can learn from our mistakes and capitalize on some of the players Steele and I are sniffing around at. I know Steele's got some stuff he wants to talk about. I'm making a trade that I'm looking to make in my Keeper Dynasty League. So all you Keeper cats out there, this is going to be a good episode for you. Steele, let's just have a leisurely conversation about fantasy hockey, my friend. We don't come on here very often and just, shoot the poo-poo. But let's talk some fantasy hockey. Let's see what's going on with our squads, both good and bad.
Yeah, I think we both had a very good week last week, winning records. I was 10-0-1, but the matter of the fact was it didn't really do much for me in the standings because everyone that was ahead of me also had a huge week for fantasy as well. So honestly, just looking at the standings as of right now, I believe last week I was in 8th or 9th place. I've jumped all the way up to 5th, but it's still a tough climb ahead with the guys ahead of me who have so far this season been playing phenomenally. Their fantasy league or their fantasy team is outstanding. Like in each division, the guys at the top, a 610 win percentage right now, a 701 win percentage. So you and I have a lot of things to do to catch up to them.
Hey, and one of the things that I'm trying to address, and this is the thing I'll be very honest about, we drafted live on air with these people. They were focused and ready to go, and kudos to our listeners. We are talking about the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Listener League with our supporters. Shout out to all y'all out there. We are creeping to that 700 mark, so make sure you holler with a subscribe. But Steele, I drafted very talent heavy. I'll be honest, I didn't balance out my lineup. I did not remember or consider how important some of these peripheral stats and categories are going to be. Block shots and hits, I'm lagging in the rear heavy, and there is a player, actually, since we are talking fantasy and what you should be doing, Jani Hakanpaa on the Dallas Stars is a grit grinder beast, and he is filling in those block shots and hits. If you're in a penalty minute league as well, he is a bit of a banger league beauty. Jani Hakanpaa, if you need to fill out some of those peripherals, yes, don't get me wrong, he's not filling the stat sheet for you anytime soon. But if you need some grit grinder minutes, and I love saying that term, Jani Hakanpaa is a guy I'm looking at. I hope no one goes on the waiver wire and burns me here because I don't mind a little grit on my team right now.
And that's exactly what's been hurting me as well. The blocks and the hits for me earlier on in the season. I tried making a trade for Ratko Gudas because he gets a ton of hits and blocks. Also tried looking at Jacob Trouba and Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers because they also get a ton of shots, blocks, and hits. I'm also very, very hurting, very bad in the special team points department right now. I'm in 4th last for special team points this season, only with 97 so far. And to be honest, like I've made a couple of trades already in this fantasy league. I had that big trade of Jack Eichel and Nikolai Ehlers for Raquel McAvoy and Jonathan Marchessault. So far, those three guys have all been stellar for me. But the one trade that, as of right now, has not been as successful so far was the Braden Point, Jared Spurgeon trade I made where I acquired Jake Gensel and Neil Pionk. So far, Neil Pionk, ever since I traded or I acquired him in that trade, he's been pointless. He's gone
Ouch.
7 to 10, 8 to 10 games now without a point. It's just that trade's really been hurting me, and ever since that time too, Braden Point's gone off for like 10 or 12 points.
I saw Braden Point had 10 shots on net his last game out. I was going to hammer a Braden Point prop bet the other night, and I missed it, and he hit. That is one of those things, Steele. You can hit and miss with these trades. Talking about the special team points, though, Kirill Kaprizov, 16 of them, and I added a little boost for my own team in the special team point department with Calen Addison getting 10 points, leading the way for rookies this year with power play points. Calen Addison, I understand that you're not going to get those blocks, those hits, and those PIMs from Calen Addison, but he throws shots on net, and he definitely gets points. So that was an addition that I just recently made in this league, Steele. I want to talk about the keeper dynasty angle of things. I need your opinion on some of these trades I'm sniffing around at, because I've made a big time move and I've been putting in some work on my team. So I want to break it down for the listeners and for you. But I also got to hit up our friends at Bet Online, because today's episode is brought to you by our friends at betonline.net. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, analysis, lines, spreads, props. You name it, they have you covered. That is where Steele and I go for our updated odds every single night. Check out the Twitter account for the latest. Get the latest odds, speaking of which, and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football to hoops to soccer to esports, World Cup, they have you covered at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, just like you love this one, you can find those too at BetOnline. They always have the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode as well. Appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the follow button, share this podcast with all of your friends and family. We're so close to 700 subscribers. Again, appreciate all the love and support. Let's continue on the topic of our fantasy league teams, and specifically your keeper league team. I know you want to talk about a potential trade and some other things that you've got working up right now.
Thank you.
In that other fantasy league you've got going on.
We are now in year 10 of this Dynasty Keeper League. Year 10, and it is a very serious one. I'm looking at our rule book, which is called the New Testament, because of how many different versions there are and how much we pray to this league. It's a serious one, Steele. We're over $140 buy-in. We have funds for social events. It's serious. So when I come on here and talk about it, people, and talk about fantasy hockey, this is serious business for me, both personally and financially. Apologies to my wife. She doesn't like hearing that, but that's okay. This is some serious stuff. So when I come on with these angles, I really hope it helps people also out there in their keeper dynasty leagues. Last couple of years, I'll be honest, I've come in last a couple of times. A couple of wobbly pop infused decisions have taken me out of the running when I have good young pieces. Now, all of a sudden, mans are online every day talking about fantasy hockey, and I'm getting better, Steele. But I want to just break it down quickly. 4 centers, 4 left wing, 4 right wing, 6 D, 3 goalie spots, and 5 reserve spots. So I've been working my way forward here, Steele. I'm up to 5th place this season and closing in on 1st place. First place might be a long shot for me, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th payout money. Shout out to Hootenanny. I got Sidney Crosby up the middle, Boone Jenner, Mason McTavish, John Tavares. On the left wing, Andre Burakovsky, William Nylander, Carter Verhaeghe. On the right side, Drake Batherson, Adrian Kempe, and Alex Tuck. And I got on the back end, this is where I need some work, and that's what I want to talk about today, is a keeper move for a blue liner, because I have Torrey Krug now injured, Brett Pesce doing nothing offensively, Mackenzie Weegar disappointing this year, Nikita Zadorov, and thankfully holding me down is J.J. Moser on the Arizona Coyotes. So my blue line is ragtag, and I need some help. So I'm looking at sacrificing a pick or two, Steele, and hit me with your take here. I'm going to look at sacrificing a top pick or two. I'm going after, and I hope the guy who's on my in my league isn't listening, I'm going after Evan Bouchard. I think
Yeah.
I can buy low on this player right now, and I think he's on the come up a little bit. And there's just so much to like with the offense. Whatever you say, want the Edmonton Oilers. I think taking a shot on Evan Bouchard right now, sprinkling that offense for me, might really help me close the gap in this keeper dynasty league. And I'm thinking a second and a fourth, but I might have to up that because Evan Bouchard's value is increasing.
I think that's a smart move because from what I've seen and from what I've watched over the last couple of games from the Edmonton Oilers is he's taken over that first power play unit instead of Tyson Barrie. So yeah, I think that's a smart move. We see that we've talked about this guy a lot on this podcast. We've seen the potential that he has. I don't know. He's 24, 25 years old.
I'll pull it up right now because I've been looking at him all day.
He's producing right now. And when you talk about the likes of him playing with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, I know that they're forwards, but nonetheless, he's going to be getting some top heavy minutes along with them. And having that power play time with them as well is crucial for a guy like Evan Bouchard. So I think it's a smart move if you can trade for him, especially and get him for a decently fair price as of right now.
Thank you very much. He is 23 years old. It's a good streaming option right now. 57 shots on net, 38 hits, 24 blocked shots through 24 contests. And, he's gone pointless in the last two, but before that, he had 3 goals and 2 assists in 4 games.
Yeah.
I've been high on this player as well. And just by association, and you mentioned it, he's on the ice on the power play now with those guys. I don't even care if he has a broken ankle. I'm going to take a shot on him because if he's on the ice, he's going to be getting his at some point. It looks like he's getting a little bit more comfortable. What I'd like to see is Steele is a little bit more minutes played from Evan Bouchard. And I think that comes with playing a two-way confident game that he's 23. He should be there in the next season or two. I've had my eye on him. I have my eye on some other situations, but just very quickly for all the listeners out there, my goaltending situation this season has been a work in progress, but I have Ville Husso. He has been a stud and my clear-cut number 1. Marc-Andre Fleury, disappointed at the start of the year. He's been up and down, but getting better. And I have my boy Peter Kochetkov. I don't just come on this show and flap off at the gums, people. I'm invested into these players myself. Does it work out all the time? No, it does not. AKA, I traded for Cam Ward a couple of years ago when he was on his way out. Hashtag Jack Daniels. But it's a come up, people, and I hope you've been a part of it, and I hope you appreciate these angles. If you like the Dynasty Keeper Talk, let us know in the comments. Drop us a DM. We can feed you some more of these angles because I know my man Steele also likes talking about his teams, so we can do this a lot more if people are feeling it. Big time bets on the way.
Yeah, and this is my first year in a keeper league as well. I got asked by one of my buddies to join this fantasy league, keeper league with him. And as of right now, I'm not really loving the atmosphere. I'm not really liking my team as well. It's tough. Look, there's a couple of different things. One, I made a really bad trade. I traded Jeff Skinner and someone else for Mackenzie Weegar. Absolutely flopped on me so far. I was buying low on him, I think, and so far it just hasn't panned out. But there's a couple of other reasons why I'm not loving this league right now. Right now, I'm 6th out of 12 in the standings. So I'm dead in the middle. Not too bad, but I've got a ton of injuries to my team. Torrey Krug, like you said, he's out now. Josh Norris has been out since the beginning of the season. He's been on my IR. Yeah. Nathan McKinnon's on my IR now. Chris Letang is on my IR. Nathan McKinnon now,
by the way, Steele, yesterday we didn't know. Now he's out potentially over a month. That's a serious blow to the Colorado Avalanche and the GMs. We're going to talk about that waiver wire Monday now. We have to.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for guys who have Nathan McKinnon right now. And yeah, he's been on my IR. But again, my goalie situation's been brutal. I have Tristan Jarry, Jake Allen, and Sergei Bobrovsky. And Sergei Bobrovsky's now the backup to Spencer Knight, it looks like. Jake Allen's letting in a ton of goals. I really only have Tristan Jarry, but here's the real reason why I'm really ticked off with this fantasy league is there's no limit to how many goalies you can have on your team. There are two teams in my fantasy league who have a combined 14 goalies on their roster.
That's Bush.
I'm not even kidding right now. I'm going to list them off before we get to big time bets. This one team, he has Kaapo Kähkönen, Carter Hart, Elvis Merzlikins, Jordan Binnington, Jeremy Swayman, and Anton Forsberg, who apparently has been on the IR on his team.
Goalies are also bad, Steele.
Yeah, but he must have dropped one, so there's 6 on his team, and then on this other guy's team, He also has Vitek Vanacek, Spencer Martin, John Gibson, your boy Kochetkov, and Eric Comrie. He also had Craig Anderson, who he just dropped recently as well. So there's no other goalies that I can pick up that are going to help me besides the goalies I already have on my team. So a couple of big reasons why I'm a little ticked off and in the middle of the pack right now.
I hear you. Our league is capped at 4 goalies, including a reserve goalie. Like, you can have your 2 starters and you can have 2 backups. That's why I have Aiden Hill in my 4th slot as some emergency, which he's been a great goalie this year for the most part.
Yeah.
But let's get to some big time bets, pal, because it's been a while since I've dipped into the old big flip triple dip cup.
Here we go.
I'm thirsty, baby, and I'm feeling it. So let's get there.
I'm ready for your takes. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Thank you so much for joining our episode as well for today. Appreciate all the love and support out there. We're going to show some appreciation to all our listeners now and hopefully get some big time bets and some money in your pockets over the holiday season. Flip, if you don't mind, I'd like to start us off with the Toronto Maple Leafs on the puck line against these LA Kings plus 140. Baby. Look, they've been red hot recently. They're 7-0-3 in their last 10 games. A huge victory over the Dallas Stars, 4-0. Mitch Marner continues the point streak. I've got the puck line, Leafs on the puck line, plus 140.
I'm loving that so much that I would like for you to just please continue with your second and lock, if you don't mind, because I have a feeling you're going to like all 3 of my bets.
All right, I am excited for you because you got the big flip triple dip as well. So I'll list all 3 of them. Leafs on the puck line, plus 140. I'm taking the Senators on the money line against the Dallas Stars, actually, plus 170. I watched the game against the LA Kings. The Senators just lost 2-5-2. It was a rough opening first period for the Senators.
Yeah, 4 goals.
Brutal start. I don't blame Cam Talbot for any of those or the defense. It was sloppy puck possession by the forwards in their own defensive zone. Can't blame Cam Talbot after that. I think he's going to get another start and another look. So that is the second pick, but I'm also, for my lock of the night, I'm taking the Winnipeg Jets on the money line, minus 110 against the St. Louis Blues. I know they just won 7-4 against the Islanders, but the Jets have been absolutely money lately. They're at the top of their division, now ahead of the Dallas Stars. I like the Jets on the money line for my lock of the night.
I was going to throw out there that if it was another bet making my card tonight, which it probably will anyway, it would be the Jets, because the St. Louis Blues burned me Tuesday night for a big chunk of money because it was my only incorrect pick that I had wagered on a mega parlay. And they got a rare game, a bad one, out of Ilya Sorokin. It was a rare 4-goal game. He doesn't give up many of those. I'm feeling the Winnipeg Jets against the St. Louis Blues tonight, Steele. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, let's get down to business here, DJ Tiesto voice. You mentioned the puck line for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm feeling this spot for the Leafs. I understand, Flip. They're 7-0-3 in their last 10. They have points in 10 straight games. Why would you not? The Los Angeles Kings struggle when they come to Toronto. They have only 2 wins out of their last 8 trips to the Scotiabank Arena. I was going to say Air Canada Centre. That's because I'm old. They don't play well in Toronto. I can remember it now back a couple of seasons. A lot of these players are the same for this Kings team. John Quick, so record against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Give me the Leafs on the money line and a cop out, since you went so hard on the puck line stealing and a cop out. Give me them on the money line minus 160. Now, you brought up a really interesting angle the other night, which kudos to you, cashed. Auston Matthews is not having the goal-scoring season we expected him to have, but that does not mean that this guy has not been getting it done, and not been getting it done in a big way. We know he's still having a good season here. Also, 13 goals, 17 assists, and a decent track record in 10 games against the LA Kings, 7 assists. Auston Matthews, anytime assist, is my second pick of the night.
Let's go.
And my lock of the night, Steele, because John Quick has been pretty good. Whoever is in the cage for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, there is a goaltending battle going on. Matt Murray might be winning it because of how good he has been. 6-1-2, 2.34 and a .930 save percentage. Ilya Samsonov, 7-2-0, 2.09 goals against. Whoever's in the cage is going to be bringing it. Add in that little John Quick caveat. Give me the under 6.5. That's my lock of the night, and that's my triple dip steal. This is going to be a tight game. I think Auston Matthews gets his. 4-2 Leafs is my final for your puck line pick.
Absolutely love it. I could definitely see a 3-2, 4-2 Leafs victory in this one. Hopefully it's a 4-2, so my puck line hits.
Bang.
Just to reiterate, though, I'm taking the Jets on the money line for my lock of the night. Flip has the Kings Leafs under 6.5 for his lock of the night.
Minus 113, by the way.
Minus 113. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. For your next listen, though, please go check out Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much again for tuning in for today's episode with Flip and I. Have a great day. Good luck with all your bets out there, and we shall see you back here again tomorrow.
Peace.